Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and a new video from me. Today's video is going to be quite a juicy video. It's going to be a video about what it's like traveling Africa while being black. So on my channel I'll try to make videos that portray Africa in a more positive light to just provide more balanced view of what Africa is all about. But I also feel responsible to share with you the type of challenges that you may face traveling here, especially by being black. And I think that they're quite different from some of you might expect. So let's get straight into the video. So being black and traveling in Africa, you will most likely blend in, especially if you dress appropriately and if you're in a metropolitan area where more people are dressing in more Western style clothes, then you will fit pretty seamlessly into the society. So traveling in Africa while being black, obviously you can just be, you just are, and that feels really amazing, at least on the surface level, because of course there is other ways that people find a way to divide themselves, such as white language, tribalism, and all types of stuff like that, and that's just human beings. They love to categorize themselves. However, as soon as you open up your mouth, you will completely lose that anonymity and you will be treated as any other foreigner, which is still very nice, but it's going to be as a foreigner. For example, you will be charged higher prices on the market because, yeah, they assume that you have more money. You are going to be referred to as, oh, that mzungu, or that foreigner. In Kiswahili, it's mzungu. In another language, it's probably some other thing. But yeah, you'll be lumped together like as any other foreigner. Sometimes they can even tell that you are a foreigner before you even speak, because apparently we have a different swagger about us. I've been told it several times. So yeah, sometimes the thing blend in, you don't really blend in because you'll notice that people stare at you or whatever, and because of that you will definitely be targeted more as, like, you know, salespeople harassing you, or people who don't have jobs and just trying to get money somehow will just follow you forever and ever and try to get money out of you, or street children. So basically what I want to say with that, traveling as a black person in Africa is not going to be like this amazing homecoming necessarily. Even if you are a first-gen immigrant who actually have direct links to that country or roots, it will not be like, oh yeah, you're directly a part of us. No, you're gonna be seen as a foreigner. And for me, it actually reinforced how Swedish you are, or how French you are, or how Danish you really are, whatever you come from. It will reinforce how much you're actually connected to that culture. It's a really strange dichotomy being connected to two such separate cultures, but I had my wake-up call back in 2013, 2014 when I first came here and had like these really strange expectations of, oh, I'm gonna immerse myself in the culture and I'm gonna finally learn the language perfectly, and this is gonna be, I'm gonna totally love it. And in the first couple of weeks I absolutely hated it because I just realized how little I actually was a part of this culture and society. But since then I've just accepted that I love Swedish culture, I love Tanzanian culture, and I'm connected to both of them. And without both of those cultures, without my Tanzanian parents and my Swedish upbringing, I wouldn't be me, and I'm super proud of that. So I'm, instead of trying to figure out where do I belong, my foot in here and foot out there, I just feel like I'm connected to both places and I love both places. But just from experience, I'm just telling you to manage your expectations and don't necessarily try to run away from something because you don't feel that you belong there, because you're not necessarily going to find that here. So being here, I have truly learned that culture, ideas, and language are like the strongest connecting factors to create some type of a meaningful connection with another person, more so than skin color. If you're communicating with somebody, if they actually feel heard and understood, that's much more stronger than having similar physical attributes. However, I do want to say that in those African countries that I have been to, the people there seem to assume some type of familiarity with black foreigners that they don't have with other groups of foreigners. But I feel like it manifests itself in really weird, strange, shallow friendships. So for example, you might befriend somebody and they'll really quickly start asking for money or for the clothes on your back or like, oh, that watch is nice, can I have it when you leave? And it's just really off-putting, because I just feel that, and I'm gonna say some Tanzanians really seem to feel so disconnected from foreigners that it's hard for them to even view them as real people. It's like they see foreigners as these weird aliens from Europe who are rich, so they can't possibly understand the problems of and tribulations of my life, and it's impossible to connect to them on a human level because they're up there and they have money. And that can be really disappointing if you are trying to create a long-lasting friendship with somebody. And there's nothing that makes my blood boils more than people asking me for money and assuming that I have not lived a struggle life or worked really hard for the money that I have. So when I'm saying this, I'm talking about local Africans, Tanzanians, who have a very skewed image of what the West is and really think it's the land of milk and honey. I'm not talking about the hip, young, progressive African people who have a very realistic image of what the West is and how it is living there, and the life that people have, that we can have struggle lives too. Those people are so cool. Those are the type of Tanzanians that I really vibe with, because we just like on the same frequency, we have the same cultural values. And one of my best friends till this day is born and bred Bongo guy, and we still connect. And that's because of those factors that I talked about, like values, ideas, and language, because there's no language barrier there, so we can communicate and feel heard and feel understood. And that's like a really good base for cultivating a real friendship. And I think that's why I really loved Rwanda, because it is right next door from Tanzania, but it's so culturally different. People are more introverted and quiet. I don't like dressing in skimpy outfits, but I think it's wonderful that the option is there, and you will not get people staring or saying stupid stuff. A lot of the volunteer women and just women in general get followed around like for 10 minutes straight or 10 blocks, and that's not acceptable. It's very uncomfortable, it's very creepy, and it feels unsafe. And that's one thing that can happen if they notice that you're a foreigner. Whether you're black or a white foreigner, they'll definitely target you and try to follow you. And I don't know what the purpose is, if they're trying to get your number, if they're trying to get money, but it's just uncomfortable. And you just have to have a stone face and walk straight ahead and not say anything. Just ignore. So if you're traveling in Africa for a longer period of time, you will most definitely befriend somebody or meet at least someone who will say, oh, hey, can you take me to Europe? Or can you get me a white or husband or wife? I really want to get out of here. They're much better. Very disappointing anti-black sentiments. That's just what you're gonna hear. So yeah, that's really unfortunate that there's a lot of anti-black sentiments and just this perpetuation of anti-blackness among Africans themselves. And it's like we think we deserve more pain and injustice than others, and because we keep on perpetuating this ourselves, I think it's going to continue for a long time. Another thing that you will notice when you travel in Africa as a black person is that when you go to nice establishments or resorts, you will be a minority. You'll be probably one of the very few, maybe even the only black person in that nice establishment, except for the workers. And you will also notice in a lot of places that you will be served last or get like subpar service compared to other groups of foreigners, because again, this type of behavior is rooted in African colonialism and just this anti-blackness and thought that we are less than, or we can wait a little bit extra because we can take it. I don't know what's going through their heads, but it's really sad. And I was the other day at this restaurant with my foreign friend. We got service immediately. When I was there with my dad, both of us dark-skinned black people didn't take us to our table, didn't get our menus, and just felt like, aren't somebody gonna serve us? And basically someone came like 3 minutes later. 3 minutes might sound little, but when you're sitting waiting, 3 minutes is a long time. And I just compared to how it was the last time when I was there with my friend who's a foreigner, and then when I looked around and saw the other guests, how fast they were served. It was really annoying. This is actually specifically in Tanzania that they will take some extra time to serve you when you're black. Another good thing to know is that a lot of African societies are very hierarchical societies, and I found that the hierarchies are usually built on age, gender, and social status. For example, the older you are, the more respect you get. And listen, I think that respecting your elders and taking into account what they have to say is very important and a very nice thing, but I don't like it when respect is just given and not earned just because you're older or have more money, or if you're a man. For example, an older person, usually men, can freely ask a younger person to do whatever they want for them, and if the younger individual is going to be seen as a good and virtuous person, they better obey without any protest. But I think it's not nice when somebody who has more money than you or more educated than you is by default just above you and deserves your respect and your obedience. You might meet officials or something that are trying to flex their authoritarian muscles. Best thing to do is to act meek, be compliant, and just follow what they say, because this is not Europe, this is Africa. Do in Rome as Romans do, whatever they say, because in Europe there is accountability. In Europe there are certain rules that can give you justice if you feel you've been wronged. Here there's no such thing. You will just follow orders. That will just make things much more easier for you. You maybe say some word in that local language that might relax them a little bit, but yeah, just live by the African rule, TIA. This is Africa, and remember that you are not in the place that you can challenge them, because they will become more aggressive. Authoritarian officials will become more aggressive, especially if you're female, talking back. So just be quiet, listen to what they have to say, then everything will be handled much faster. Just don't think that you can change their minds or how they operate, because it's not your place to do that. They need to develop into that like democratic society or open society themselves, where people actually, the regular people, can hold authoritative figures accountable. But right now in a lot of African countries, that's not how it is, and just be okay with that, because you're there to travel and have fun. So guys, basically that's what I wanted to say with this video. I think that you should definitely travel to an African country. I think Africa is amazing. What I said in the video might seem a little bit negative, and I don't want to deflate any hopes. I still think that an African country is a wonderful place to go to. Tanzania is a wonderful place to go to, but come here with the goal of seeing the sights, enjoying to see new cultures that you can learn from, and yeah, that's it. You don't have to have any other expectations of this being your new home, or that you're fleeing from something. No, this can just be an enrichment into your life, and that's it, as simple as that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye. Mwah.